Hello everyone, SirMonkeySuit Ozabi here, back again with Demon Slayer. We are on episode 19 of Season 1, and I'm excited about this recording session. These next two episodes coming up, which I guess is probably the same every week I do this, because it just, the story just keeps rolling out like these awesome moments with the show that's just like, there's always something happening. And it never slows down for a second, really. So, I guess it's the same every week I record these. I'm always excited for the recording sessions of Demon Slayer. But yeah, I mean, obviously all that comes down to what happened in the last episode, which the big things were that Gyu finally turned up, and in a fashion which I would expect no less from the guy. Inosuke was having trouble with the spider demon, like at first in his first form. Never mind the updated, into his next form when he evolved and he got more eyes and infinitely more teeth, and he was in his second form almost. And Inosuke was in a bit of bother. He was struggling there, to the point where his head was getting crushed like a watermelon. And of course Gyu would turn up at the last moment and absolutely destroy, without breaking a sweat, just dismantle the father spider demon. There was nothing. It makes me wonder how the power scale really works in this show. In regards to, because obviously I know that Gyu is a Hashira, but that would I'm guessing from one side to another, if you're obviously splitting it down the line, you've got on one side the Demon Slayer core, and then the other side you've got the demons, right? That if you're propping up the Hashira as the the elite of the Demon Slayer core, then that means that there has to be something on the other side that would be as just as strong or even more powerful. Which, yeah, I mean, I'm going to assume that Muzan Kibutsuji is well up there in terms of that. I'd probably say that he's maybe more powerful, but I don't know, because I'm thinking of the Hashira as an elite group, but there's always somebody more powerful, if you know what I mean. So I'm guessing if we're talking about, I don't know, the leader of the Demon Slayer Corps, for example, I'd imagine that he's you can't get anyone better. But I don't know, I really don't know. But it's just the power scale that I'm just wondering, because I mean that was nothing, I guess it is just Inosuke, but I feel I don't know, with Inosuke, I guess it's hard to distinguish that. It's hard to not feel like he is insanely strong, because I guess of how he presents himself as that way. He's very upfront and confrontational and very that way inclined. So, but that spider demon obviously fucking destroyed him. And Gyu came in like it was nothing, and that was it. So yeah, I mean, Tanjiro couldn't even get through. He probably would have with that 10th form that we didn't get to see, but Gyu didn't even have to use that form to get through. So incredible though. So yeah, Gyu turned up. Inosuke had that flashback, which is interesting to see. He was actually, kind of just. I don't want to. I was going to say thrown away, but that's not really true. It's kind of the mother looked like she kind of dropped him a little bit off a cliff. I don't think it was that fucking far, but maybe into a river or somewhere safe, away from what was happening with them, which I assumed that they were getting torn apart by demons and stuff like that. So in order to save Inosuke, she had to take him to safety, and therefore he just grew up alone, without any parents. And then of course the cliffhanger was that Tanjiro up against Rui, and I mean, I don't know what Tanjiro does now, because he doesn't have a sword. I mean, he has a part of one, I guess, if he's going to use that, but his sword's cut in half by those spider webs, which still boggles my mind as to how that is the case. Because if the Nichiren sword is supposed to go against the demon stuff, then I would figure the blood art would be the same, and I assume the web is a blood art. So I don't know how that translates and how the web is able to cut through a Nichiren sword, but regardless, it did, and that's where it ended. I think I said there was only two things that could possibly happen. Either Tanjiro somehow manages to dodge, which I feel like he's got nothing to dodge against. The only way he really does it is by using his sword, and at this point there's no way he has the speed to be able to dodge. The second thing would be that something stops the attack from happening. Gyu's already, he's dealt with like this, he's nowhere near. And I'm guessing Shinobu is looking after, still looking after Zenitsu. So I guess Nezuko, I don't know how she gets out from the back though, and like in front in time. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe the sister intervenes. I think I said something like that last episode in the post discussion. But yeah, anyway, I'm rambling on. So yeah, we're going to get in episode 19. So yeah, if you do want to go watch the actual reaction to the show, the 10-minute version, you can do with the link down in the description. And also there's a link to the full length there if you do want to watch this whole thing and not just the 10-minute version and the, everything from start to finish. Then the link to the full length is there as well if you wish. But yeah, nothing else to really talk about. So we're going to get in episode 19 and see what we get. So without further ado, let's go. Okay, episode 19. Fucking hell, what? Well, I mean, I knew something had to come of something. Like, I wasn't expecting, like a transfer of one water breathing technique to another. And not only that, it seems to be something strictly only the Kamado family that does this. Like, this is not like a case of water breathing that is passed down to multiple, demon slayers and everything like that, but this seems to be completely exclusive to them. And that, that was nuts, man. That was crazy. I wasn't expecting that. And it's not even fire breathing, but it kind of is. I mean, obviously the look of it is, but like, I mean, because they strictly said that though, didn't they? Like, Tanjiro even said his name, man. The guy who made the sword, like, as soon as he saw his hair and everything, and his eyes, that like there was that, like, he said something along the lines of like, there's that fire that like your father had or something like that. It was something around those lines anyway. Which is I mean, that's just. That's cool, man. And I wasn't expecting, like, I was just thinking in my head, like, how do you fucking do this, like, with a blade that's like, I don't know, that's how much you've got left of it. Like, that could it have even, I don't know. I mean, apparently it was enough to get through his whole head. It must have been like, he must have been having to just, I don't know, maneuver the blade in such a way that it would have to dig through, like, he would have to, like, maybe maneuver it around the neck so that he would be able to get all of it. But and I don't know if it was the anime rule of cool, but the fact that he was there and he was, like, stuck there against his neck and still had time to talk to him, like, and then force his way through. Like, that's some strength from there to there. Oh, man. The animation, man. Fucking hell. The animation. God. How far we fucking come, man. Like, to pull this off in, like, a fashion of doing it for a show and not, like, a movie. This is the kind of stuff that you'd have, like, that you just had to, if you wanted this kind of quality, and this doesn't go for just this show, but for other shows, stuff that, the team would animate that you would never get in a show, and now you're getting this shit. Like, what? It's nuts, man. That's crazy. So, yeah. By the way, I did look. I don't know if what I said in part of the reaction will actually make it into the 10-minute version, but I did say, like, what's the Kagura then? And I said, like, has it got to do with this? Is it the scar thing? And I said, like, oh, because I'm pretty sure he didn't have the scar when he was a kid. But I'm looking at it now, I looked back, it turns out that he does have it. But so that's interesting that he has the scar that's carried on, like, similar to what his father had. And that's interesting. So yeah, that's not the... So the Kagura is the actual dance. The Hinokami seemingly the way he was talking about it was almost like the Hinokami is some sort of like godly, some kind of godly figure that. And the interesting thing was the father actually said become Hinokami at one point. So it's interesting. The ritual dance itself is something that I don't know if it's the dance is something that you have to carry on as almost like, you do the ritual dance to almost, I don't know if it's like, to appease the god or to give some form of spiritual energy that allows you to actually become Hinokami. Because what he was actually using was the Hinokami dance breathing, or at least that's what Tanjiro referred to it as when it changed from water to fire as well, which it's just it's just cool, man. Like, especially because it's so like it's a very different, it's a complete opposite of element, right? Like from the water to the fire as well. And I suppose it is interesting because when you talk, like, when you think about Tanjiro and who he is as a person, that like it's like the water breathing suits him down to the ground, like, to a T, because of who he is and his personality and everything like that. So, but I love the fact that obviously when he's gonna have to go into that like mode, when he's gonna have to transfer over to Hinokami dance breathing, like it almost like ties together with him emotionally in that moment, because he has to go into like that realm of like he doesn't become like, he's not the Tanjiro where he's very polite and kind and calm anymore. Now it's a case of like, right, I'm gonna fuck you up. And it's like that fire, like, they're deep within, because he has that emotional need to fucking, I need to get through this, and it's just fantastic. And for the sake of like, I don't think you could have had a better team doing this show and animating it, really. I just think it suits the aesthetic so much. I think like the idea that you can, because of the actual like visual nature of the forms and everything that takes place, like, and how much is actually going on screen. I think by allowing there to be that shift between 2D and 3D and have it so seamless that that UFO table's fucking great at, it allows you to almost see what's going on way better. I feel like there are some times with strictly 2D, I guess sometimes it's just down to how much detail is put into the animation, but if things are going like a mile a minute, it can be easy to maybe just miss something. But having that transition between 2D and 3D, I think, allows for there to be like a more, it's like a perspective change, but but you don't notice it. I think it's just easier to sort of to gauge what's happening, and with so much fucking going on there, like that's crazy, man. That's insane. And then mixed with that, I love the fact that the first time we get into this because obviously this is the first time we're seeing this happen, and the first time we've been, like, we know now that Tanjiro is capable of this, and that the Kamado family has this, this Kagura dance that, it summons Hinokami within you, or however it works, right? That I love the fact that, seeing that for the very first time is paired with like having Nezuko also like help, and like having her, because it's like with them two, it's Tanjiro and Nezuko, like that, the reason why they are, well, first and foremost, the reason why obviously Tanjiro's going out and doing this is to the end goal is to turn Nezuko back. Yeah, I mean, like, I just love the fact that the two sides of like the same coin, that one doesn't come without the other. That when you're exposed to Tanjiro like his new form for the very first time, that you see it with Nezuko as well, and having it in a situation where Nezuko has to help out, otherwise Tanjiro's gonna die as well. I didn't obviously know to what degree when Tanjiro immediately said it, when he was saying like, in order to get through, I'm just gonna have to take Rui's hits, and with how dangerous they are, yeah, that could have gone badly. But yeah, so Nezuko can do Demon Blood Art. It was nice to hear as well, because it's very... Nezuko is very, like... I hope it doesn't, like, sound like I'm insulting here when I say this, but she's very pet-like in, like, the way that she acts and responds, you know? Like, yeah, I guess that just obviously comes with the fact that, you know what I mean, she's not, like, human anymore, and I don't know how much change is going to happen over the course of the story to her when she's a demon. I mean, because obviously the way she is, like, she's very cute. You know, when she's only able to, like, you know, make like certain noise, like and that's it, and like, you know, you can't really see it on mouth because, you know, she's got that like sort of muzzle thing on, you know what I mean, and she's very cute that way. But like it was nice to see her, because obviously she does know what's going on at other times as well. But when I say like she seems a bit more pet-like, when she used her demon blood art there, it was almost like for a moment she'd gotten like some semblance of like humanity back, or like, you know, obviously the demons here that like we see, like, you know, Rui and the family and everything like that aren't feral, where they actually are able to think and, you know, speak like you know, like humans would, and you're able to understand them. And the only thing that's obviously different about them is the fact that they are demons, right? That, like, it was nice to be able to hear that, like, hear her and see her be that way, even just for a split moment. I assume she's probably going to go back after this. I mean, she's in a bad way, and we know she doesn't heal nowhere near as fast. So obviously, like, she's going to be out of commission for a while after this, and so is Tanjiro, as he said that, you know, this is like a thing that has an effect after I use it. Like, I'm going to be out of action for a bit in order to, you know, get the strength back and everything like that. But I guess he needs to wait for his sword to fucking, you know, like, to get his sword back and, you know, reforged and everything. But yeah, I mean, but anyway, as I was saying, like, I don't know how over the course of the story how much is going to change in regards to Nezuko. If it could be a case of, like, maybe even though the end goal is to try and get Nezuko back to being a human, maybe she never does. But if over the course of the show she becomes more and more, you know, like, sort of, she's able to think for herself more, you know, and she becomes like less pet-like, and it's more of a, you know, like the other demons, you know, like the 12 Kizuki and all that. Like, if she becomes more like that, that maybe that's how the show ends. Like, because Nezuko is the way she is now, you know, she doesn't hurt humans. So if she was to get, like, you know, her sort of like sensibility and everything back to what it was like when she was a human, then yeah, she's a demon, but she's still Nezuko. You know what I mean? So even if the idea that you can't turn somebody back to being a human, I mean, it all depends on what the case. I mean, because it could be just something as simple as, like, well, if Muzan is definitely the very first one, if he's the sort of be all end all of the demons and everything like that, like, maybe it is just as simple as killing him and then that completely you know what I mean? Because I see it like this: if we're going by like a logical sort of, you know, if we're going with a logical approach, then killing Muzan should theoretically get rid of the demon curse thing altogether, right? Because if you notice that, like, when you kill other demons with the, you know, specifically like the Nichirin sword, it's obviously infused with, like, you know, the minerals that can absorb sunlight and everything like that, that, you know, the demons themselves, like, once they're cut, you know, strictly, like, you know, neck up helps. all of their body disintegrates, right? So, and you know, the demon cells themselves are Muzan's. So if you were to kill Muzan, then theoretically, all of his cells that have ever existed anywhere should disintegrate, right? I mean, I would think, like, logically and, like, as scientifically as it could be, like, that makes sense. So, it's probably as simple as that. But, you know, I don't know. Because throughout this show, I've been saying, like, well, all of the breathing techniques and everything like that we clearly see as visuals are not there. Like, the characters aren't saying they fucking, you know, tidal waves and you know, water splashes and fucking. But then there'll be moments where, like, you know, a couple episodes ago when Tanjiro heard that thunder, like, you know, that thunderclap, and it's like, well, hold on, you know what I mean? Like, I know that's not like saying, so like that's not like saying the actual lightning, but it's still hearing something. So that means that there is a distinct, like, there's something there that isn't natural. It's not like they are. It's not like water breathing. I feel like is just a, you know, the visual of the waves and the water itself isn't just like a visual cue that's like, oh well, this is a breathing technique that is more graceful in the way that, you know, they maneuver around with their swords and everything like that. And I feel like there is something there, because again, like, you know, and again, like, talking about like the anime rule of cool, I don't know how, like, to what degree that actually is. So if you're looking at it from, like, on a fucking, you know, on a line, and one half, like, one side is like, you know, like, right, it's completely, totally real, and everything that we're seeing in the forms in the water and everything like that is truly 100% a visual effect. And on the other side is like, no, like, the water is absolutely definitely there. I don't know where, like, on what, like, where it lies on that scale, because Tanjiro uses, you know, his water breathing forms and stuff to, you know, cushion an impact if he's falling towards the floor. Now, if you only have a sword, you're not going to cushion the impact of falling to the floor. You know, I don't care how fast you fucking swing that sword. So, you know, and then yeah, I don't know. I feel like on the side of the Demon Slayers, there has to be something there that, I don't know. Was it Inosuke as well that, like, saw the similarities and with Giyu using the water breathing techniques? I think it was, right? So he can clearly see it. And I don't know how close you have to actually look at something in order for, if it was just like a sword swinging around, right, and like using it in different ways, like how close you would actually have to look at it to notice the similarities of, wait a minute, that's the way Tanjiro swings his sword. And considering how fast Giyu was, I don't know how you would pick up on that. So there has to be something there. There has to be. But I don't know. I really don't know. And I don't think it's going to be something that is like, that can be quantifiable, or like, I don't think it can be confirmed through the show. You know, so if you do want to tell me in the comments, then let me know. I'm pretty sure, like, back at the beginning of the show in some episode, like episode, what would it have been 4 when we first saw it? I think so. If you want, like, I'm pretty sure they said that, yeah, it was just a visual thing, but there are some things that just make it seem like it isn't just a visual thing. So I don't know. We'll have to see. What else? Right. So yeah, Rui. So Rui was taken aback by Nezuko because Nezuko had come out and taken the blow. and he couldn't believe it because he wanted. It's weird the way that he think. I want to get in the next episode, and I want to see like what they usually do with the backstory and stuff, and just see what it was with him in particular that makes him think of it that way, you know, because they've been doing it for every other demon, so I assume they're going to do it for this one as well. The only thing I've got in my head right now is that he's just a fucking like a spoiled child, that maybe he's like, I don't know, like I say it like maybe he was like a prodigy or something, and therefore even though he was a little kid, because he was calling himself the youngest, right? So he's the youngest sibling. But like maybe if he was a prodigy and I don't know, he was part of a family that was almost reliant on him to become like the savior of their family kind of thing, that then he would just become the spoiled child that could get away with anything because he was the prodigy, and therefore he has this fucked up sense of like how sort of family works, and therefore he thinks that he is actually the one in charge of it, and that he doesn't understand what an actual bond is, and he never had it. I could see it being something like that, but I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, it's just odd that the thing that's like really odd is how Rui reacted to it, considering the family he's got right now. You know what I mean? Like Tanjiro, when he first, you know, came across him, said that, you know, yours is a forged bond. It's like, it's fake. It's not real. And Rui hated that, and he despised him for saying that. But so in Rui's mind right there, he was like, no, it's not forged. And then with the whole Nezuko situation, he said that I want a genuine bond like that. So he's in denial then. Like I don't know. I was right though. Episodes back when the Spider family thing was first sort of told to us that that's what we're going to be dealing with, I said I have a feeling that it's not a real family, that like Rui is, I called the Rui thing as well being the 12 Kizuki, like one of the 12 Kizuki out of the lot, that like it seems as though he's the one that is in charge, and that, you know what I mean, like he's sort of forcing them together. So I was right. I mean, the feeling was already there, so it's not, I don't think it was that like hard to pick up on that anyway going in. But I mean, he just has this, like he forces them together with sheer power, and he calls it a bond of terror, which, you know, like I'd have to assume that I suppose if he's going with the bond of terror approach, then maybe it's a case of like his backstory could be that he was a kid that was weak, and therefore he had a family that literally like treat him like shit, or maybe threw him out, and therefore he never had a family. So it could be a case of like, well, once he became a demon and he became strong, that to compensate for that, that's what he did. But yeah, I mean, he still is under. He still has the sister under his under that torment, and because unless she was literally looking from the shadows, which I'm beginning to, I don't know if she did, which kind of sucks because I would have liked to have seen her witness this happen to Rui, because then you could have had a case where like, because she doesn't seem bad, like she seems like she could be turned around like and not have to worry about this. It just seems like she's like, you know, just like her mother, it's a case of being tormented into doing the bad things, and I don't know if they would actually be doing these things if it wasn't for Rui tormenting them and forcing them to do so. So I don't know. I mean, we'll have to wait and see what happens next episode. But I feel like because the sister isn't there to witness Rui's demise, that she's going to be doing this still thinking that Rui is alive, and if she doesn't do what he says, then she's just going to be tormented even more. But I don't know if it's a case of like, it seems as though, like what I was saying with Rui, like forcing them in there, I don't know if it's a case of the sister and the mother and everything like that wanting to be also wanting to be close to Rui because he's a member of the 12 Kizuki, and therefore it's like they're in a better position, kind of sort of speak, like you're higher up in the hierarchy if you're close to one of the 12 Kizuki. So I don't know, but I don't know. We'll see what happens next episode, because I'm sure we'll get back to her. But I just feel like it's probably going to end in her death. I'd hope. I'd hope. I wouldn't really. I would like it if there was a demon that can be another friendly one. But I don't know. The problem I have is like, who's gonna be there to even to like fight for her to because I don't know, like, because Tanjiro is going to be out. I don't know to what degree he's going to be out. I don't know if he's still going to be conscious after this, or if he's going to literally just pass out because of all. I mean, he's sustained injuries, and he's done this the Hinokami dance breathing thing, which apparently takes it out of him. So I don't know if he's even going to be conscious after this. So I don't know if Tanjiro can say something. I mean, he has to fucking still try and find her wherever the fuck she's gone. I mean, she's just gone throughout the forest. And obviously Nezuko's not going to be able to say anything. So they're just gonna kill her off, especially if like she is going to go out and follow Rui's orders, thinking that he's still alive. It does kind of suck though. But I suppose that's the thing. Like, we may get answers in the next episode or two regarding what the sister's true intentions are. Because I mean, even though she is being tormented by Rui, that still doesn't mean that she's completely like, she would be a good demon if she wasn't under Rui's boot, and that's the thing, is like, I do sympathize with him. Like, I sympathize with the mother, even though like it was atrocious fucking what she was doing and stuff. But it's like, well, I don't know, what do you do? What the fuck do you do? You know what I mean? You've been fucking tormented into doing these things, like to the point where it's just like, just because you're a demon, you might be fucking invincible to other demon attacks, but that doesn't mean it doesn't fucking hurt, so you can still be tortured. So yeah, I don't know, we'll wait and see. So yeah, he was lower 5. I think Kyogai was lower 6, and then he was like, he was shot out of the fucking 12 Kizuki anyway. So what does that mean? That there's 11 Kizuki? I mean, there is now that Rui's dead. But like, was there a replacement? There may be. But I'm assuming that it puts them in order of number that would constitute like how strong they are, right? I assume if there's a lower, there'll be an upper, and then upper 1, I'd imagine, would probably be like the top of the top, aside from Muzan, I'd assume. But I mean, that puts Rui down there, like, at one of the weakest. And I mean, yeah, Tanjiro did take him out, but I mean, he had to fucking use almost like the strongest attack he has. I mean, because the way that the Hinokami dance breathing almost worked was like, it transferred water breathing to the dance breathing, right? So it just changed the breathing up, and it changed that sort of like what the visuals were, the power of it or whatever it was. So I'd assume that you can use that breathing in other, like his other forms. So therefore, like, you know, even Tanjiro said that the 10th one is the most powerful one, right? The final form of the water breathing thing. But he transferred that into the Hinokami dance breathing. So he's already used, like, the most powerful attack, and it worked against that one. But, you know, coming up to, like, you know, maybe you'll be able to use that for all the lower ones. Upper ones, I'm not sure. Like I say, I don't know the power scale of you know, the different people in this show, so... But yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Yeah, and I think I guess we'll talk about the Nezuko Demon Blood, because I actually didn't even talk about that. I just said that she actually did it, which is crazy. But so the one she used, like, was exploding blood, which I assume is using, like, she was able to use that because she was attached to Rui's, like, webs, right? And therefore I feel like she transferred that exploding blood or whatever into, like, it's almost like she converted Rui's blood art and made like the blood, I guess, because I've said before, I don't know, is it the blood that they actually use in order to create their art, or their magic, fucking whatever, that the blood that was infused to make those webs or whatever exploded. I think that's what happened. Like, she was able to use it against them. So I wonder if that's her specific blood art that she can, like, only she can use, and it's specific to her, meaning that she can't create something of her own, but she can use blood art against their opponent. So it's like a counter. It's like a counter blood art almost. That would be like, depending on. Here's an interesting theory for you. Here's an interesting one. Depending on, we'll have to see what happens, because I'm assuming she's going to use this again at some point. We're going to have to wait and see at that point if anything changes. Because, right, let's say it is a counter sort of demon art that she has. She used exploding blood on this one because I guess it made sense. Though I guess if they're all demon blood art and they all work, like, from using the blood of the person that obviously conjured it, then I guess exploding blood would work in every sense. But the theory I was getting at would be, it would be interesting if it came down to not Tanjiro. Like, right, maybe Tanjiro does have the final blow on Muzan at the end. But it would be interesting if Nezuko was able to, like, if she was the one that could turn them back human. Because if it is a counter, right, I assume Muzan is no different to the other demons. I assume that the power he uses to transfer, like, to make other demons is also a form of blood art. I mean, he literally gives them his blood. So it would be interesting if it is a counter sort of demon blood art that Nezuko has, that if she's able to turn it back, and instead of, you know, Muzan, like, obviously gives him his blood, like, she's able to, like, take it out or just get rid of it somehow counter it. That'd be interesting. But then that would mean she would have to do it to herself, and I don't think that would be able to work. Because then she would have to use her blood art while at the same time transferring back. You know what I mean? So at some point it'll stop, and she, like, I don't know if you could do them at the same time, you know? I don't know. It's just a theory, though. It's just a theory. But yeah, I mean, that's all I've got for that. The last thing I have there is the father. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't care. Like, literally a couple episodes ago, I was talking in the post discussion about the ending, and that there was a frame in there that I'd noticed, which was a man dancing, right, while little baby Tanjiro and Nezuko looked on, and I was like, well, that must be the father then. And I was interested in what he was doing. And then, what do we know? Like, you know, a couple episodes later, that's what's happening. But, yeah, so the father was frail. Why would that be? I wonder if it's from using the Hinokami dance breathing too much. Like, maybe it's a case of, like, if you use it too much, and it depends on how long he's been going as well, because it could be just a thing of, like, it could literally take years off your life, you know? Like, every time you use it, like, it could take something off the overall. But then I don't know why he would be so enthusiastic to have Tanjiro be like, yeah, you need this. Well, I guess he obviously knew the world that he was walking into, like, that if you would probably go down this path, that this is shit that you would need. Because you're, like a prodigy kind of, like, not prodigy, a prophecy kind of thing. It's like, well, Tanjiro's going to be the one to take out Muzan, since obviously the father couldn't do it, which I assume the father was trying to do. You know, because just like Muzan clearly hated the father, like, there was clearly a fucking, you know, like an arch nemesis kind of thing going on there, that I assume that the father was the same way about Muzan. I'm guessing he already knew that Muzan was the guy, like the top dog kind of thing, and he was trying to take him out, but couldn't do it. But we know that the father, like, didn't die to Muzan's hand then. I assume he just died because he grew weak and frail, and then that was that. But because it definitely wasn't old age. I mean, he still looked young, well, as young as he possibly could be, considering, you know, how weak he looked. But I mean, if you look at the mother, you know, the mother wasn't, you know, she wasn't that old, so I'm gonna say it was probably the Hinokami dance breathing then. Like, that just took it out of you. Like, if I was right in saying that the Hinokami, whatever it is if it's a godly figure, like, when he was telling, like, when he told Tanjiro to become Hinokami, that, you know, if you're literally becoming a godly figure in a human sort of, you know, in a human frame, like almost like it's like a cell for a god to hang out in, like, obviously that would probably take its toll on the human body. It's not meant to house that kind of figure. If that is a literal thing and it's housing that godly figure for that moment, that, you know, that moment in time when you're actually using it, then over time, yeah, it would probably affect you quite a lot. So I'm going to assume that was the case. If he was just using it, like, you know, if the father was using it a lot to try and, you know, take out Muzan, and then eventually it was just, like, too much, then, you know, that's that. I assume that's what it is. I can't think of any other reason. So yeah, but yeah, I love the way that this ended as well. Like, it wasn't the other end, like, you know, it wasn't the traditional ending that we've been saying, yeah, but it just, like, fucking cut it straight into the sort of like the family ending. It was all about the Kamados and everything like that, which was nice. Obviously tied into what the episode was about and stuff. But yeah, really impressive episode. Really cool. There's been a bunch, but yeah, that was special, that moment. So really cool. Really enjoyed that. So yeah, I'm gonna get an episode 20 and see what we get with that. Looking forward to some, like, backstory on specifically Rui, and just see what that's about. But yeah, that's all I've got. So thank you everyone for watching. In the description below I have links to certain things. One of them is the Discord, so you can get yourself over there if you wish. And I also have a Patreon page as well. So if you do want to support me on Patreon, that'd be very much appreciated. There is a bunch of different tiers and rewards there, like early access for $5 a month. That gives you access to shows a week early, like Demon Slayer. So obviously episode 20 will be out the same day as episode 19. It'll be out right now probably, so you can just go watch that right now. But if you do want to gain access to episode 21 and 22 right away, then you can do by going over there and becoming an access to our patron. There's also Hunter x Hunter as well. If you want to, you know, watch the rest of those episodes, you can do, because I finished the show like ages ago. They're all up there. You can watch them all in early access. There's also a full-length tier there, $10 a month if you want to watch any of my episodes in full and not just the 10-minute version, then that's there as well. And there's other tiers there where you can pay to have a show reacted to as well. So if you want me to react to a show, go have a look at those tiers and see what they offer. But that's all I've got. So thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.